This is a frog. I'm exploring these roads at night to find frogs and other cool animals. While looking for different species of frogs, I'll explain some of the interesting aspects of their biology. I explored the roads in spring and summer to make sure that I could see a wide range of frogs. I started looking for these animals in April, a time of year when many frog species are breeding. After heading onto the road after dark, it didn't take me long to see the first frogs. This is a spring peeper. It's the same species of frog that is creating the high-pitched sounds in this video. These vocal sounds can be traced to males like this one, who create mating calls to attract females. Frogs push air into a cavity in the mouth, filling vocal sacs, which allow sounds from the larynx to resonate. After seeing the frogs vocalizing, I continued walking along the road. However, it was hard to get far without seeing another spring peeper every few steps. I even got to see 2 successful frogs in the state of amplexus, a mating behavior exhibited by frogs. Of course, I made sure to move frogs across the road in the direction they were moving towards, since this road was relatively busy. It wasn't long until I saw another frog species on the road. I had to move this frog out of the road from an incoming car, but this is a gray tree frog. I soon spotted another tree frog ahead. As their name implies, these frogs spend most of their time in tree branches and leaves, hunting insects and even other small frogs. This is an American toad, which belongs to a family of frogs known as Bufonidae, or the true toads. These toads are also breeding this time of year, just like the spring peepers. I also managed to find the second toad, which had a worm crawling on its face. I waited and then headed back onto the road to see what frogs I could find. Right when I started, I found a couple of green frogs. While green frogs spend a lot of their time foraging on land, these are frogs that seek refuge in the water. This individual can be identified as a female because the tympanum is about the same size as the eye and the throat is white. On the other hand, males like this one have tympanums or eardrums that are larger in comparison to the eyes and also possess a bright yellow throat. After observing this cool insect on the road, I spotted this large pickerel frog. These frogs are poisonous as their toxic skin secretions are dangerous to many potential predators and other frogs too, but not for humans. The yellow coloration on the inside of the legs serves as a warning when the frogs are moving. In addition to seeing adult gray tree frogs, I also saw a juvenile gray tree frog crossing the road. This tiny frog probably just metamorphosed onto land. This was only one of many green frogs that I saw. Once it became darker, I started to see green frogs all over the road. These were all young frogs that had probably metamorphosed recently from the water. Green frog tadpoles normally undergo their transformation onto land during the summer. To achieve this, some tadpoles overwinter before doing so. I also found some American toads on the road. These toads have spots on their back which contain warts. These dorsal warts aren't real warts, rather bumps on the toad's skin. However, toads do possess parotoid glands behind the tympanum. These glands secrete different toxic compounds, and in the case of American toads, bufotoxin. Bufotoxin is a relatively mild toxin, yet it makes toads less tasty for some predators and dangerous to others. I headed back onto the road one last time the next day. The first frogs I managed to find were these 2 pickerel frogs. These frogs can be identified by their rectangular patches along their back, which are ordered in rows, unlike some of their closest relatives. These weren't the last frogs I saw. Apart from the pickerel frogs, I also saw another juvenile green frog, as well as this American toad.